Hello, my rad pre-calculus class. We are ready for another online adventure. Today, we will solve trigonometric equations using calculators. We can't always find the exact value for a trigonometric equation, by using the unit circle. We will need to use a calculator, and we have to make sure that we set the calculator to the proper mode, either radians, or degrees. Let's also review if we're in an XY plane, then we start off with 0 degrees, 0 radians. If we're going counterclockwise, it's pi over 2 radians, or 90 degrees, or approximately 1.571 radians. Keep on going counterclockwise, which is pi radians, 180 degrees, or approximately 3.142 radians. We keep on going counterclockwise. We get to 3 pi over 2 radians, which is 270 degrees, which is approximately 4.712 radians. And then if we make one complete rotation, we have 360 degrees, which is 2 pi radians, or approximately 6.28 radians. So we had to remember that. And also, let's talk about, let's review reference angles. Like a reference angle is a positive acute angle that the terminal side makes with the x-axis. So here's our initial side, which is a positive x-axis here. So here, in the first quadrant, the theta is the reference angle. In the first quadrant, the theta is the reference angle. If we're in quadrant 2, so here's the terminal side and here's the x-axis. So here's the reference angle. If we're in quadrant 2, the theta is equal to pi minus the reference angle. If we are in quadrant 3, so here's the terminal side, here's the x-axis, so here's the theta, and here's the reference angle. In quadrant 3, the theta is equal to pi plus the reference angle. If we are in quadrant 4, see here's our theta, here's our reference angle, the terminal side, and the x-axis. Then the theta is equal to 2 pi minus the reference angle. So you have to know that when we're using our calculator. Also, let's review this. In which quadrant are the trig functions positive? A smart trig class. All the trig functions are positive in the first quadrant. Just the sine and the cosecant are positive in the second quadrant, which means that the other 4 trig functions will be negative. In the third quadrant, just the tangent and its cotangent are positive. In the fourth quadrant, just the cosine and its reciprocal secant are positive. So again, a smart trig class. You'll have to know that. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to solve 2 equations, and we're going to round our answer to 4 decimal places. And it's the x, which is the angle that we're looking for, is between 0 radians and 2 pi radians. So that means that the calculator has to be in radian mode. If I had said 0 degrees and 360 degrees, then the calculator would have to be in degree mode. But since it's 0 and 2 pi, the calculator has to be in radian mode. So the first equation will be tan of x is equal to 12.8044. Well, this is a positive number, and tangent is positive in the first and the third quadrants. So we have x, which is the angle, is equal to inverse tan of 12.8044, and rounded to 4 decimal places is approximately 1.4929, which terminates in the first quadrant. Now, since tangent is also positive in the third quadrant, remember the angle is going to be pi plus the reference angle. So here's our reference angle, and we add that to our pi, the pi that's on the calculator. You have to hit the pi that's on the calculator. Don't just hit 3.14, you hit the pi symbols, which uses all of those digits. And it's going to be approximately 4.6345 radians. So our answer will be x is equal to 1.4929 in the first quadrant, or x is approximately 4.6345 in the third quadrant. And these are angles. So if you were to take your calculator and go back up here and put in each of these x's right here, and you hit enter, you're going to get something that's close to this. Remember, these two answers are what, rounded, but you should get something very, very close to the original number that we have right here, that original decimal right there. Okay, let's look at another example. Here, I have cosine of x is equal to negative 0.4317. Well, cosine is negative in the second quadrant and the third quadrant. Second quadrant and the third quadrant. So first of all, we're going to find the reference angle by pretending that the ratio is positive. So I'm going to pretend that its cosine of x is equal to 0.4317. Well, this says x equals inverse cosine of 0.4317. And our calculator will give us 1.1244, which is a reference angle in quadrant 1. But remember, cosine is negative in the second and the third quadrant. So in the second quadrant, remember, the angle will be pi minus the reference angle. So it's pi minus the 1.1244, which is approximately 2.0172. But again, cosine is also negative in the third quadrant. So if we're in the third quadrant, remember the angle is equal to pi plus the reference angle. So it's x is equal to pi plus 1.1244, which is approximately 4.2660. So here we have our x to be approximately 2.0172 in quadrant 2, and x to be approximately 4.6345 in quadrant 3. And remember, if you go back and put these two answers into the original equation, like you put the cosine of 2.0172, you should get something that's close to this. You probably won't get it exact because remember we're rounding these off. And remember, as you are viewing these videos, always stop, rewind, review. Stop, rewind, review. My love goes out to you.